We had a terrible earthquake here in Ecuador a few days ago. That's why I want to discuss earthquake safe building. The best material to use is steel frame. It is 70 to 80% lighter than cement buildings, 10 times more flexible if you get your joints correct. Steel is the best material to survive any type of seismic activity. The steel places less stress on the concrete foundations because it is so much lighter. The roof structure is so light that the worst that could happen are nail pops and possibly drywall tears. Even the siding is considered a separate entity because it's screwed in.
Yeah, I want to talk about steel framing, and particular steel framing in Ecuador. So our access was 2.5 kilometers down that way, so we had no choice but to build this Ecolodge out of steel frame, just because bringing in the materials by horse would have been not even possible. So my guys carried in the steel framing on their shoulders. I helped, and we got everything down here, and we built this, the superstructure we built in I think it was less than 2 months. We got the roof wrong because this roof has a slope that goes forward on the front part and backwards this way on the back, and my guys wanted to install it level. So fortunately with steel framing, it's really easy to adjust mistakes at any point of time. Just takes a bit of time and vision. The idea is, what I'm talking about is that more and more buildings in Ecuador should use steel frame. It's earthquake proof. You can insulate the life out of it. You don't need heat ever if you're insulated with, we did 2 battens. R14 times 2, so R28, soundproof. You can't do that with cement structures. I think, really speaking, a lot of people in Ecuador are sick. And the reason they're sick is because of the way they build houses here. So when it rains, they have a lot of these houses that have these painted on roofs. And the humidity, I don't care what you do, the humidity does get into the house, especially, you know, when the paint gets a lot of sun destruction. So steel frame is a really good option. It's not being used very much. And I want to talk about steel framing being computer aided. And what I mean by that is, so you hand in your plans to for example, 2 Galt in Cuenca, and they will send you the entire house to your job site. And all the perforations are made, everything is calculated, everything is ready for you to go. So you get this kit, and if you're a kid and you've installed Lego, it's pretty much that simple. Everything is labeled, everything is numbered, and if you follow the layout that they've given you, it's quite easy to assemble a house in 1 or 2 or 3 days. If you get something wrong, you will know right away, oh, this metal stud is too long, it doesn't fit here, it must be from somewhere else. So the fact that everything has been pre-cut and pre-organized, you really can't make a mistake, and if you do make a mistake, it's very healable, very, very repairable very quickly, because it just doesn't fit where you're trying to put it. Earthquake proof. The bottom part of our Ecolodge is all cement, and on top of that we put a gasket in between our metal studs, and then we started our uprights and building the building upwards with these separation between the steel studs and the building itself, the foundation itself. So we are in an earthquake zone here. We've had a couple of one major, not terrible, and one or 2 minor earthquakes already. And what happens is the building, I was in the building when the bigger earthquake happened. The building just does this. It's sort of, I don't know how to describe it. It's not like a cement building. It doesn't have the weight above. So, you know, even if the earthquake is terrible, you can stay in the house because there's nothing to fall on top of you. There's no cement floors that are tied together. There's none of that. It's just basically a lighthouse. I don't think it could even fall down, even with a horrific earthquake, just because it's so flexible in every way that it wouldn't do that. So the call out is for, South American countries to start embracing this new wave of construction techniques. Steel stud's been around for a long time, but in this country, very, very few people are using that method. Tugalt, T-U-G-A-L-T, is the company in Cuenca that is pushing this system. They did a great job for us. They delivered everything, and we carried it all up. We did not use their services for CAD. We basically did everything ourselves. We cut everything. We, ordered like 6 inches extra on everything so we could cut everything. They weren't ready yet for that CAD assisted design. So anyways, if you're going to build something in Ecuador, you can give me a shout as well. I will help you. But building with steel frame has to be the future of this country, because this labor-intensive construction is, it's actually mind-boggling when you see 25 guys casting a concrete floor on the first floor of a building with pails. They bring it all up. It's insane because there's just so much labor involved. Okay, let's talk about running conduits, plumbing, electrical lines. There is no easier system than in steel studs to run all that, because you can leave spaces between 2 walls. We decided on having a double wall, and we staggered them so that our insulation is, there's always a row of insulation protecting the steel studs, so you can't hear anything in the unit next to the other unit, because we just have such good offset insulation lines in there. So running your electrical, running your plumbing is a lot easier. Alarm systems, whatever you want to run inside those walls, super easy. And
together and move together, so there's no problem with that. Electrical and plumbing lines do not snap off during earthquakes in these buildings. It is incredibly hard to fix these snap-off lines in cement buildings.
Not having to chisel out the walls to run your conduits, not having to take grinders and cut lines for plumbing lines, that weakens the structure so much when you have a 4-inch clay brick wall and you're cutting 2.5 inches of conduit into it. That makes that structure so weak because you have to go the whole length of that wall. So the next time you are considering building something in this country, look for alternate materials, look for alternate ideas. We also have this ability to get finished wall surfaces a lot nicer than with cement or anything like that. We have beautiful finishes everywhere because we're putting drywall up and finishing the drywall, and you're done. And on the outside, we're going to do some stucco work as well, and that's done as well. So once you're done the surfaces, that completes the project. So steel stud, let's get it into Ecuador a lot more. And it will make a big difference for this country to move forward and to understand new construction techniques.
A combination of steel and concrete is crucial because you need to get your steel out of the ground, and it should never be in contact with the ground. Even the cement and steel framing are separate entities and vibrate separately. Steel framing is definitely the best option for earthquakes.